Alright, hi guys, I'm Tracy. I am gonna do a VOD review for LME Disruption. As I saw the ad that 2D Mouse was looking for a coach, so I'm just applying for that, and I'm just gonna do an analysis of your game against Fire Skill Mini on Ilios. So let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
So just something off the start. You probably want to be trying to utilize some sort of speed that you can come up from the point. So something like a Lucio speed boost or Symmetra teleporter. So you just can get to point, can get set up a bit faster. It does give an advantage because it's probably better to be the one getting the jump. So like if you can get to if you can get over to the left side of this point right here, as I pull out my pen, if you can get to this point earlier, depending where you want to hold, if you want to hold somewhere like here as well, getting there faster would be much beneficial. I would definitely recommend here, which I think you do actually end up going there, so that's good. So if these guys come out a bit later, you would have the jump on them if you are already set up. So standard setup with what you have right now is a double shield. The only thing that's not really from the meta is the Mercy. I understand that you would running the Mercy just to probably pocket the Genji or the Ashe. So it's something that enables the DPS a bit more, but you will not be able to sort of peel against the Genji. I've watched the whole VOD. I believe that will actually come back to bite you in the ass quite a bit. So probably just want to be something you would want to consider running the brick more. Yeah, so moving on, let's just get on with the VOD. So I like the setup that we have right now. We have the Genji moving to the bottom right here. So right off the bat, you can see that we have a 5-man setup here, and then the Genji would be contesting the other Genji right at the bottom here, which I do quite like. So it doesn't allow him to just get free pokes and then you kind of take a duel. So it seems like we are winning at this point, so that's pretty good. So they are running a dive instead of the usual double shield. So Well is one of those maps that you can play both double shield and the dive. So in this particular scenario, we're running double shields into a dive. So you want to be more compact as compared to playing it a bit separately. So you can see our Sigma was moving out a bit here, probably just to scout somewhere inside this building, which is fine. We saw that Winston immediately back off, so that's good. Generally, it's recommended to play here because it's easier to defend against a dive. In this particular scenario, we don't have brick, so it's probably a bit harder to peel, but in general, you would still be able to like back off into this room right here, and then your tanks could, like your Orisa, could just hold the front door, and then it'll probably be quite hard for them to actually push through. So we can see this fight breaking out. We have Muse trying to do like crazy flank there. Personally, I would prefer if Muse actually stayed on the low ground, kind of like where Babs is, and like help pump out damage when they are pushing in like that. Your tanks are doing a good job controlling where the Winston could go, so he was like just hanging out in this area, and then your Orisa is front line, and then your Sigma would be in there as well. So you can see a lot of good positioning from team, and then because the fact that Muse was playing on this double high ground, Mercy has to be out of position just to get you, so probably just want to be a bit more considerate of the fact. We do win this fight, which is good. So I think there is Genji cleaning up over there. Decided to go to the brick and dash into the brick, which I do personally personally think that's the best play. It actually causes you a bit of problem because these guys are going to recontest with 6 faster than us. We did get a rest, so that's actually okay. So I still like the off angling of Genji. So you can see Winston diving all the way to the back. We somehow managed to peel. We lost our Genji. Yeah, so because we do not have the break, and then the fact that Muse likes to play on the high ground, there's a lot of times that Muse is not going to get any help because Baptiste is going to have a very hard time trying to heal. So you can see there, Genji has just solo out Muse. You know, like that bit of slow healing as well. Didn't get Eon up as well, which is kind of worrying. So we just need to be a bit more vigilant on the healing. We're playing a Mercy, so you know, things like that should probably not even happen. Like if you're gonna dedicate a Mercy just to pocket the Ashe, you probably want to be doing that a bit more cautious so that things like this won't happen when they get solo out. Like dying like that to Genji is probably like not really a good thing. So yeah. One thing I noticed as well, when Winston dived in to the back line, we can see, I think this is, what was his name again? The Sigma? No, wait. Swift Assassin is playing it a bit too front. Generally against the dive, you want to be a bit more compact, especially in this scenario where naturally you would have a break to sort of like counter the dive. To somewhat peel for your backline or for your Ashe, something like that, and then you know the Sigma could like probably do something else. In this particular scenario, you're running a Mercy, so the only CC you have on your team is actually a Rock. So the Sigma wants to be a bit playing a bit more of a peel role in this particular scenario. It worked out for us because their dive was kind of uncoordinated. I can see that Ashe was just coming back to point. Although they did get a pick on Muse, but this kill wouldn't happen if Muse wasn't playing here, or if Mercy was actually pocketing him a lot more. So this fight is going to continue. We are control of point, so that's not really a concern. Just being a bit creative here with the off angling, that's fine. You can see the Genjis are not being like keep track quite a lot, and then because we are playing like so far apart. And then we don't have a break to like fight their break is actually just like punishing us, and then this actually creates a lot of distraction where this Genji can actually come down and actually punish your Orisa and Mercy because there's no actually like anyone to actually help him. So probably want to be a bit more careful of that as well.
Powerful, and I'm not even angry.
I'm probably you know, at this point you guys are just, you know, it's kind of bad. Like you shouldn't give the point there, especially there were people coming back. Dying like Fletcher, I believe this Orisa player should probably be more aware of the point. She was like maybe toes on the point, but she's not actually on the point. You give the point away, you can see they already have 8%. To be honest, you guys should be on hold of this point. You guys already had outs at that point of time, so you probably should have pulled the trigger earlier as well. When the Winston and the Genji came in, I believe we had outs. Let me just double check before I make myself sound like a bit more. Yeah, so you can see we already had our out before that fight started. So we, you know, you just want to be a bit more pre-fight planning. At this point, if you look at their team com, the only realistic play they could have done is actually like a Nano Blade or a Winston dive. So, you know, if we are able to, it's not really reliable to actually like try to flux the Genji. Of course, it's something that you would probably want to be considering doing. But being proactive with your outs is actually pretty good. So I think we popped the Valve, and then we were waiting for the flux for the Genji Blade, which I think caught both Zarya and Winston. I think we missed Genji, if I'm not mistaken. Winston has dropped in your backline. Put the bit too much backing off there. I personally think that over here, right here, you could have just flux and actually gotten a 3-man flux, and then this fight could have been over, and then Genji will be reluctant to actually pull his trigger. Ash did pressure out the Ana, which is okay. I noticed this quite a lot, but Muse likes to be a bit off angling, which I do not think would be the best play. You're probably safer playing against with your team, but against with a mobile Mercy, would probably be much beneficial as compared to playing a standard break. So probably just want to be careful. I think you almost got chunked out there as well. Most of the time you would see the Genji trying to off angle and then pressuring the back lines like these two guys. So we probably want to leave that to Eon. Here the dive happens. We are fluxing now because we are getting pressured. In my opinion, this is a bit too late. Like I mentioned, if you did it much earlier, you would have a much better time. Yeah, the flux was not amazing as well. So there was two guys here, and then you just flux at the end of it, and then like Brick was like somewhere in the end. So if you kind of adjusted that a bit, you'll probably be better. But yeah, fluxing here much earlier would be better. Give your team enough space, because the fact that if everyone's like behind there, you're barely gonna shoot anything. So yeah, want to be able to maintain that space. We did pull out the flux blade, which is okay. Genji got a 3k. I think their Genji got a 2k as well. So we did kind of win there. Bit too much aggression on Neon's part, similar to when he died to break earlier. But yeah, well, fine. So we just need to clean up the fight here. Quite a lot of time. Like this aggression from Fletcher is good. It should be been much earlier, especially the time when there was a break Genji and Ana here, and then we did a pull. That was probably the time to actually move up here, so you can actually like close down the gap and then probably land more shots and then contain them to this area, and then so that they can't really push in. We did clean up the fight quite well. Yeah. Leon died again. So
Bob, do something!
Yeah, the Bob went off the map. I don't need to say that was a mistake. It happened. So let's skip past it. We do keep the point, so we're going to go back to our default position. I like to see that there's actually discipline here. Maybe some of the DPS are a bit more on the aggressive side, so I want to be a bit more careful with that. Again, we can see the monkey diving in solo, but he's still staying alive. This is really just because of we are playing like more defensive, like passive peel. I mentioned Sigma should probably want to be, like when this dive comes in, Sigma doesn't have to be that far. To be honest, Sigma could be somewhere here. The dive comes in, just rotate around and then try to rock. People should be trying to shoot the shield. The positioning from Tracer here is not ideal. You probably want to be more of a distraction, because if you're going to shoot from this far, you're not going to really have a lot of value. You're probably better off trying to distract the Ana so that you can't really get a lot of healing, and then at the same time you pull Brick to come help your Ana. So it's more, Tracer is more like creating space, so you create a space where this pressure is not going to come into their tank line, and then you guys can actually at the same time, if Sigma was over here trying to peel, you can just like move your shield up to this area, and then you block a lot of that healing. So one thing, if I were to talk a macro level play, the reason why you also want to hold here from an offensive point of view is that realistically, if they are playing dives, obviously they will just come in this way. Recently there is a trend where people play Zarya. If Sigma was a bit towards the back here and you guys control this entire space, realistically the Zarya can only like come through this way. If there was enough pressure coming from our team on the defense, and we need to actually punish this. We can actually see the Zarya is going to escape, like just like kind of backing off here when realistically you could actually pull him into the pit. But yeah, I think it didn't really fall out that way. So the moment the shield break, you can actually look for the pull. Just wanna be more aware of that. Winston somehow is not really getting punished. Genji again got away with killing our Ashe when he was with the whole back line. So you know, if we can run the brick, it will probably be a lot better.
Feeling powerful.
Allah till May!
Огонь по готовности!
Again, we gave the point a bit too early. Like the pressure coming out from Winston and like Zarya sitting like particularly right beside a well should not really be a concern for you, Orisa. You know, you just want to be looking for more of these pulls. So you want to be able to be standing on the front line. We even Velt just to hold the point, and then we basically give them a second flip. To be honest, if we didn't give the first flip and this second flip, it would probably be at 99 by now. So you just want to be a bit more, you know, aggressive. Like if Ashe was really pummeling you down, you can use like 45 and just turn your head, so you don't really get headshotted. That halt was a good idea, but you know, probably execution could be a little bit better, but that's fine. The bot was kind of shit. Ashe almost died because he's trying to off angle again. Again.
Bitte Universum singt für mich!
Beyond his treasure with Ashe, so it's good. We actually did a pull flux, which I kind of like because it seems like you guys do have some sort of synergy, so we want to see more of that. We're going to see more of a halt on Monkey as well, so that we can actually punish him when he gets into the diving position. So probably one less aggression from Sigma right here.
Bob, do something!
But nice pull, we actually killed the Winston there, and then we get the point back, which is good. Then we chased out the Ana for a third kill. You can see, yeah. So Eon is just farming his pulse bomb on the Diva. I would prefer, I'd say, to actually have a bit of scouting on this right side. So like majority of the time Eon was playing on this alleyway. You're not going to get a lot of information coming from here. So probably better if instead of playing the left side where your Sigma could actually look directly into the alley, you want to be playing more on this side so you have a lot of space to move around. Sorry, there's a lot of space to move around here. And then at the same time, you know whether they're going to rotate or whatnot. You know, you're playing bunker, so you're probably just going to sit here anyway, but really doesn't really matter. In the case where they do like rotate all the way behind here and try to go through this one, you probably just want to move over to the other side and mirror that. But yeah, that's about it. So the dive is going to happen, which is really happening. Let me just go back a bit more. So the dive did happen here. So now, you know, because Sigma is way too forward, he's getting focused right here. So you probably just want to be a bit toning down that aggression and not having your supports to bail you out.
Cease your resistance.
Sieh dir mal zu yo!
Okay, trying to kill the Winston. Very good target focus there. Okay, that was a good play. Okay, so that's fine.
友人の剣をくれ!
Overtime.
Nice pull. Nice halt there for Marissa. I'm not sure why Muse likes to play up here, but it makes it very awkward to shoot from that angle. If you did it just to land like a dynamite for sure, I understand. But I don't know if it's like a best case scenario to do that from like up down. You know, obviously if they were diving in from here, it's kind of hard to shoot them from behind here. So obviously you could rotate all the way to this side or something just to be creative. And then your team would hold this front line and then hold them into this room so that you can kind of shoot them from here. But yeah, I don't know. This is probably not the best place to be, because you leave yourself very exposed to their Ashe, which is probably going to sit somewhere here to shoot back into your team. And then if you're distracted with that, you're probably just going to get shot. which I think you did. So yeah, good halt at the end. Baptiste somehow managed to stall Genji long enough and not hit the die. So
Score.
that's good.
Ready for battle.
Next map
Understood.
is Lighthouse. So Lighthouse, if you're playing the double shield, you want to roll out to the top. I believe you guys do that, so I like that we have
5,
somewhat of an
4,
idea what we are
3,
doing. So you want to
2,
keep your
1.
Ash
Round
and your
2.
Baptiste roll up
Capture
there,
the
so you
objective.
can actually poke from high ground. It's a good. It's okay because you know you can sort of scout what they're doing first, and then like obviously if they're playing a brawl, you can stay up there and poke them. Then Orisa would probably be the one touching the point or something. Against dive, you guys can actually move as a unit, so it depends. The Doomfist pick here is probably preference from your end, but Doomfist doesn't, you know, if they played a double shield, then that pick would be quite ideal because it does really well against the double shield. But again, inside a poke com, it seems like you have very little poke, and then the fact that they are running like, you know, Diva, Ana, and Break, you're probably gonna have a hard time as well. Obviously, it depends on your timing, but it just makes life a lot harder. Nice rollout from Doom. Got there really quickly. Got some info. Probably want to wait for that halt, but that's fine. He didn't die for some reason. So this is something I want to actually bring attention to. I know we don't have the brick, which again, the brick would be very good in this position where the brick can actually, like, instead of Sigma, Sigma could be out here and then brick would just directly handle the Genji. There needs to be more attention on this Genji. A lot of time he's just like right at your back line, and that's almost the reason why you want to run a brick, so that you can actually like somewhat deal with him and make his life a bit harder. So probably just something we want to consider. Not sure if we have a brick player, but would
The
be kind of
objective
handy
is now
that one. So yeah, we do end up killing somehow. No, not yet. Maybe yes, we got him. Yeah. So it took a while to kill. In that time, you know, Swift could probably be a lot better. You know, like shooting the point, for example, and then giving Fletcher a hand here. So you know, like someone needs to be dealing like obviously Ash wants to be shooting here, and then Bat wants to be keeping Orisa alive. Sigma probably wants to help this, or probably peel against the Genji. A brick would definitely be very beneficial here for you guys. The Doom is just going to be harassing this backline, so he's actually doing his job. So yeah, you know, obviously if we had a Genji as well, you know, I would tell the Genji to mark their Genji and then like prevent him from actually being able to abuse our backline. So anyway, seems like it works out. So we do manage to keep Orisa alive. Again, Orisa is not touching the point, which is kind of bad because, you know, at this point we are, you know, in a race against time just to be able to cap the point. It's sort of risky to sit here as well, because one flail will actually send you over the edge, so you probably just not want to sit there. It makes life a lot easier for Bab if you actually played here, but this is also fine. It's just more prone to getting flail, so you just want to be more careful. So we did actually win the point. 7-8 seconds into that, 9 seconds. Now somebody to touch the point, so we give 12% point. It's okay, not really a big deal. We probably could have kept that point and be the one clocking that 12% for ourselves, but that's fine. Or even more, maybe. Here we are trying to catch the Genji. We didn't manage to. Yeah. Much aggression from Doomfist. So if you want to play the Doomfist into like Orisa and Sigma, you generally want to be, you know, trying to using the Orisa to like pull and then like try to side switch slam or something. A lot of this right here is like a lot of solo play, which I think is very risky for you considering that they're running the brick and then you're up on this high ground all by yourself. you're probably off better like playing where Ashe is, and then Ashe would probably be, sitting a bit safer so that, if they dive her, she can just drop down. At this point, you can see the Orisa is here, Sigma is here. The Ashe right here is kind of front line, and I believe you actually get dived by this as well, which is kind of bad. So you lost one DPS, and then the second DPS is gonna die. So yeah. I think you were dueling this Ashe. You got shot right before you got dived. So yeah. So this fight was lost. Generally because both DPS got caught out. Things like that happen. Again, it's kind of like because you guys are not playing behind shield, or you're playing in a position that's not very favorable. Like you're playing right here, which is like super open. You probably want to be like this Ashe where you sit on your side and then you have natural cover to block you.
Cease your resistance.
Now we are here.
Meteor
Orisa
strike.
got singled out pretty hard there. Like there needs to be more backup for that.
Helden
He did
sterben
get
nicht.
antied, so if you get antied, you just wanna back up.
Deine Götter till May.
Das Universum singt für mich.
See the Genji is just like wrecking havoc in the back line. That Mercy, even with Belt, is not really gonna do much. So, yeah, probably wanna either get off the Doom and then play like something that can somewhat control the Genji. Like you could even like drop your Ashe and play a McCree in this case just to help out with the back line, because getting punished like that is kind of bad. Moving on. So Sigma's 1v winding a Diva and actually won, so that's good. So they nano bladed and then Eon tried to go for a kill here. I wouldn't recommend trying to get this all the way here with using 2 skills, because you're never gonna escape once you use the third one. So you use a punch and then you use a side swing slam and then you uppercut and then you're just sitting duck, because one coach gun and you probably like have enough distance between you two, and then the fact that they run Diva, which is gonna give you a hard time. You're probably better off playing a Genji just to try to catch her on her own. Yeah, so probably might wanna have some swaps there as well. So we lost this fight because they nano bladed, which is good on their part. So yeah, nano blade, not much you can do considering we don't have defense power. Yeah. So we almost got the Genji. I believe we do actually heal after that. Yeah, nice pick there.
Meteor strike.
So we do touch the point. Let me just adjust the camera. So Doomfist is
Allah till May.
Overtime.
Helden sterben nicht.
Do something!
Cease your resistance.
Nerf this.
a bit late to the point. Doomfist would probably want to be toning down that aggression, going in that deep alone. The tanks probably want to be a bit faster as well. Ashe died to a Diva Bomb. Unlucky, probably just want to be hunting back to that room just to be in case. But yeah, there's C-Knight at that point. Like I mentioned earlier, if we touched the point early twice, we would probably not be in this scenario where one Nano Blade could have just won the fight for them. Yeah, and then we obviously Sigma got a bit too greedy and chased the Genji all the way here when there's a flux. So want to be more focused on like what ults were coming up and then knowing what to do with that. So like everyone just go to point, and then once they actually dive to point, you flux, and then you probably win from that. So just want to be a bit not too greedy down here. But yeah. Moving on, 1-1 so far. So kind of close game.
Score 1-1. Ready for battle.
So we are in ruins right now. It's actually quite a good Widow map. I believe we do not run it. Oh, we did run it, sorry. Yeah, we do run it, but probably not out the gate. Oh, we did run it. So we run double shield with Brawl. So that's not the best thing in the world.
5, 4,
because you don't really get
3,
a lot of aggression
2,
from your Reinhardt.
1.
your Reinhardt in this scenario would be
Capture
very
the objective.
passive in a lot of cases. So probably want to be reconsidering this comm right now. So just out the gate, a lot of comm issues. Hanzo pick is like kind of questionable. So you probably want to be reconsidering what you want to play there. You know, if you run a Reaper here, it would be not bad. You know, if you can run a, you know, even your Doomfist in this scenario would be a lot better than running it earlier. Because you're playing a bit more aggression with this comm, and then your Ryan can just run into there and create a lot more space for you, as before when everyone was like sort of laying back and then you were trying to go in and do things on your own. So so Reinhardt comms, you want to generally use the tunnels. That's what I call it anyway, the tunnels, so that you can get out line of sight of Widow. You want to be playing very compact, so if the Winston do actually jump into this room, you guys can actually punish him. And you're going to be, you know, quite a tight ball. If you move out, decide to go to point straight, so which you can see there's quite a lot of spacing out here. And then you can see that we are just waiting. So Moira got picked first, which is like probably not ideal considering our comm. But you want to be playing a lot faster, especially, you know, if you guys played a double sniper off the bat, you probably want to play it a bit more like how you did. But if you're running like the McCree and like all these brawl tanks, you want to be taking fights with them more often, so you don't really give them a lot of time to set up. Giving them this high ground space where, you know, your Reinhardt just backed off gives him a lot of time to like decide like, oh, I can actually jump like the back line and stuff like that. So you just want to be, you know, if you decide to play it passively, you know, you guys can hide in this back room until the point unlocks, and then you fight on point, which you probably excel better than them. So yeah, just want to consider what your goal is at the start. So it's either aggression or you want to play it a bit more defensively. Well, there seems to be a bit of aggression there from Reinhardt. This positioning here is kind of bad because you decide to fight here instead of here. So so the Reinhardt player, you know, if you want to choose to fight here, obviously your Moira and all can like just come from this way instead of like coming to the point. So, you know, at the end of the day, it depends what you want to go. Like if you want to take this brawl and then like hold this area, then that's fine. If you want to go from this area straight off the bat, you're better off just running off here. Generally, if you played brawl, I would recommend you to just hold this area. And then like if they do dive, it's actually quite easy to defend against a dive as brawl because your sustain is a lot higher, provided that your support line do not die this early in this fight. So you can see, because you decide to fight in this area instead, your supports are like trying to just keep up with you, and then you just forgot about their positioning, and then this space that was open is just taken by them because we decide to take this spot right here. So that's kind of like a Pega from our team. But yeah, Moira died very early, which is not great for us. So at this point, it's probably just better to brawl and just try to get as many kills
The
as we can.
objective is now active.
You know, play fast, because at this point we only have Lucio heals, so play fast and then just try to get kills. Genji end up cleaning up a lot of us. You know, again, you don't really want to play on point because it's easier to hide from Widow if you play inside there. Widow is actually sitting down here, so she gets free farm. So if you play inside this room and stuff, you would be a lot better. So we lost the point. Reinhardt wants to be a bit further back. You don't really want to be feeding charge at this point, so fall back, that's good. Put discipline. So the comm is still with Hanzo. It's Hanzo is kind of going for picks at this point. Good speed M there to get the guys that were trying to hold you for whatever reason they were doing that. So they were playing very tight, and then you saw that you M, and then that's good. You got to play fast against dive so that you know, you win in the sustain game. So yeah, that was good. You know, if I were to make adjustment to this comm, it would probably be, you know, change your Hanzo to something that help the front line, kill up the Winston and all that, and then play Moira so you can actually run and stuff. Because you're not really running a Genji, so you don't really have a lot of value. I guess you could pick up the Ana just to try to slip the Genji, but again, it's probably not that reliable. It's probably easier to run away. Yeah, so you can see, you know, it's like we just keep waiting. You know, like there's no point waiting on the point. You know, at this point, you're probably better off trying to fight for this spot right here. You know, in the case where they do run here, you can rotate there. If they come through this way, you guys do excel. If you guys play it tight, if you had Moira here instead, you know, you guys can actually like easily hold this whole area, like hold this area right here. And then your Widow can just like free roam, like maybe like behind there, so that, you know, if you contain the fight in this area, your Widow will be able to pop off. But then at the same time, their Widow probably needs to like start rotating and shit like that. So you're dying early before the fight, not great. But we do land a big grab here, so we made the best out of it. So the Hanzo obviously is to synergize with the Zarya.
Огонь по готовности!
3-man grab. And then we even got their rally, which was like probably the best case scenario for us. Hanzo going after that one. You know, your Lucio probably want to be, you know, speeding everyone and cleaning up this fight, or like, you know, helping out there. I think Eon ends up losing to this. Yeah, our Reinhardt fell asleep, so that's unfortunate. That's okay. It happens. Moving on, Zarya has the right idea. You know, Zarya obviously want to be fighting there. You're probably better off holding them in choke than actually letting them to like get in this area and like decide where to jump. I think in this next clip you can actually see that is what's going to happen. So you see the Winston's like going to move to the left side here. Movement. So like, you know, you guys keep backing off to the point, and then like Ana will be like, oh, why are you guys backing up so much? And then, you know, that space that she had earlier, she had this much space, it suddenly just cut off. You know, like obviously Ana probably needs to be like backing off as well. But you know, this is kind of the reason why you don't really want to back off. I mean, if you know, obviously we have two DPS that it's not really in the fight, so in that case, you know, you're probably better off like moving back. So Ana needs to move like a lot further back just to be able to that one. So here we got the Nano Blade coming, but we have the beat, so that's perfect. So yeah, we're peeling back for the back line, which is good. Reinhardt's probably gonna die here. Yeah, so yep, we invested the Nano as well. Not ideal. It ended up getting slipped, so that's kind of unfortunate. So if you know you're losing a fight, just reset. You know, you guys are really in a good position right now, but now we already use our Nano, which is probably not ideal. You probably can consider swapping the Moira in this case, so you guys can play faster, and then you don't really need a lot of out charge. And Moira actually pumps out very fast. But that's okay. In 50% we'll have a lot of time to farm Nano if we played it right. So now they are a bit smarter now. We can see that they are playing a bit more spread out. We want to be, you know, in this scenario, we want to get out of line of sight from Widow. So we generally want the main tank to lead everyone through these tunnels, and then like, you know, play at this point. And then like from there, you can like wait out the sights and all that stuff. And there's this as well. The Genji is like pressuring out Widow. Good response from the support line.
Огонь по готовности!
Yeah, probably want to heal this because she's gonna die here. Yeah. So you know, again, this is lack of focus on the Genji. Like the Genji has been around here. McCree should probably turn around and try to help as well. Widow could been a bit more aware. You know, just trying to kill their Widow, which is like, you know, you need to be more aware of your surroundings so you can stay alive. So this fight you died, and then and this guy is just gonna be free roam.
Огонь по готовности!
Then a big grab again, so like that we're landing quite a bit of grab. We're winning a lot of these fights for us, so that's good. Yeah, you don't want to play on point because you can get punished by the Widow, so it's probably better to play on this side of the point so that you can avoid all play inside there. So just want to be more aware of the Widow. So we do reach 99. We can see that our Reinhardt decides to charge all the way to the point, which I do not think is the best play. because it's basically you do not have your pressure from your charge, and then all these guys are just going to bully you. You want to have your charge so that they can't do that.
Overtime.
It's Hanu.
وريهم قوتك.
Yeah, so we got Nano bladed there. Not ideal for us. We obviously tried to sleep. But I noticed both of you guys walking in the same direction, hugging and holding each other's hand. Probably don't want to do that if you don't have beat. It's unfortunate our beat didn't come up faster. So you probably want to be out tracking a bit more and like trying to find ways so that you can actually farm that beat faster. So like if Ana was like, it's more important to farm beat in this scenario because they're kind of like their only win condition. So the farming the beat is more priority. So if we can give more healing for our Lucio, probably want to be doing that as well. So now here we need to swap to stall characters, because if you can see, honestly, with a perfect rollout from Lucio, you need at least like 10 seconds, 10% just to get to point. But you can see it's 9% here, and we are just like waddling here. So at this point, to be honest, Lucio did came out first. Lucio would probably be the one touching early. We could have won this fight because we had beat and shatter, but we couldn't even touch the point. And then we do end up losing. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, that one. So I think from what I can see, you guys do have an understanding of like what comms to play. We can see that comm kind of fall out a bit towards the end. From the second map, we ran like a Doomfist in like a double shield poke, which doesn't seem very ideal. Like you were comfortable in Genji, you probably should have stayed in Genji. If you preferred to play the Tracer more, you could have done that as well. Lighthouse is actually kind of ideal for Tracer as well. So yeah, second map was kind of fortunate. We do have a bit of C9 somewhat on the point when we couldn't really touch it, and we just let it flip for no reason. That also happened in the first point. So the tank players want to be a bit more aggressive as well. And then the third point as well, we can see Genji left unmarked a lot of time. And then we had a comm that was like kind of strange, sort of. We had double sniper for some reason in a brawl. So if you want to run a brawl, you probably want to run DPS that kind of synergizes with it. So McCree, Reaper, Doomfist as well could be fine. And then you either decide to play fast. So to be honest, if you play brawl, you just want to go fast. So yeah, I think overall there's not really a lot of issues on this team. I think a lot of the times you guys do lose out the point because people get caught because they are too aggressive. So just probably need a bit more discipline. And then want to remember what are the key points. Like for example, you want to be able to control that mini health back room so that you can control where they come from, and it's easier to peel because it's more controlled environment. Lighthouse was okay in my opinion. Everyone's positioning was okay. If we had a brick, it would solve a lot of our problems. Obviously it depends on the team, so can't really say much there. But if we had a brick, personally I would think that you guys are going to win them. Probably one Ashe and all to stop taking 1-on-1 duels, so that they wouldn't get picked before the fight starts. But yeah, overall I think the tank place was okay. The support line can be a bit slow at times, but overall was quite responsive as well. And yeah, overall it looks kind of good from what I can see. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. See ya.